Hi folks, we're with Tacitus today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this audio live stream. Please listen to this presentation as you would a radio broadcast. In this essay, I'd like to talk about something that may be a bit bigger than any of us realise. So it took me a bit by surprise. So I'm having this is one of our customers in a business I've got to share, and so I'm talking to the CEO. And I always try and make a point of buddying up to these guys and having a cup of coffee with them at the local cafe and having a chat. And once they're out of the office, they tend to open up a little bit, and especially if you've met them a few times. I try and be as cheerful as possible with them. But so we're sitting down, and they're I already knew this. They're hiring like a sales manager type sort of thing, and the CEO wanted this guy to be involved in some of the work we were doing. Fortunately, I managed to convince him that wasn't necessary. It's just these excuses that they seem to invent to try and slow down a project or hold it up or stop it in some way. And anyway, I managed to convince him it wasn't necessary, so the project sort of went ahead. But he was talking about how he was going about selecting someone to fill this job of a sales manager or senior director of business development, whatever he called it. So now this guy himself, he's not qualified or credentialed to do the job. He's been appointed by the financial firm that put quite a lot of money into effectively it's a venture capital firm or a big bank. BlackRock or whatever that you want to call it, that owns the company or owns most of it anyway. And so he's their boy, he's their flunky stooge. Now he's not an idiot, and he's got he's got an IQ above 100 and so on, but he's hopelessly unqualified. He's got almost none of the relevant credentials or experience, and he's got an affirmative action degree and all that sort of thing, but. He probably could have been a suburban accountant or something like that in the real world, but he's come to the attention of the BlackRock type people, and they've put him in as their boy, their stooge, and he's got some sort of power and discretion, not a whole lot from the looks of it, but some. So anyway, he's saying how he goes about it, and he's a firm believer in affirmative action and diversity, equity, inclusion. So he wants to hire the proverbial black lesbian for the job. But he knows, he's bright enough, and he understands that you won't find the proverbial black lesbian qualified to do the job or anywhere near qualified. So how does he get around this? I mean, he doesn't know what's needed for the job because he's not qualified. His sort of deputy is also an affirmative action hire and not qualified. Nearly all the business the company gets is through backroom. Across investment deals, so that it's not BlackRock, but the BlackRock type outfit leans on other companies in the region. So we've got investments in you, so we want you to buy your stuff from them. So it's very mafia type controlled in reality, and not based on market forces or value propositions or anything like that. Which shows, by the way, how corrupt the finance, because BlackRock and those guys control so much of the business transactions today that very little of it is done on any form of merit or as in merit on price performance of the product, and it's all done through, or much of it done through backroom deals. And this is one of those things. That's why they can install someone who's totally unqualified as a CEO, because the guy doesn't have to be any good. But anyway, they do want to have some sort of new business in a few sort of small niche areas where they do have to compete, and it's more the cream on the cake. This sort of area, all the bills are paid for, and by the pre-arranged backroom commerce that is going on there. Anyway, he's going to hire a sales manager type person, so. He decided this is how he's going to go about it. So he's telling me this. Again, it's done sort of matter of fact, and he's not, he sort of lowered his voice a bit, suggesting he knows it's a bit of a dirty deal. But anyway, he he says what he's doing is he's they advertise the job and they get headhunters to go out and tap people on the shoulder, that sort of thing. So they isolate a few top-notch straight white males who've applied for the job. So he's going to interview these straight. So he records the whole thing. So he's got his set questions of, well, how would you win this customer, or how would you do this or that? How would you go about? What would you say to the? So he's got his list of questions. So he goes through the questions and he records the answers. And he says, look, these straight white guys, the older straight white guys, they're experienced, they're credentialed, they've achieved and accomplished, and they've got all the everything that's needed. So I'll go to them and they'll tell me how the job should be done. What needs to be said, how it needs to be applied, how to go about it, how to approach the issue, how to solve the problems, how to do this and that. So he'll get it chapter and verse from people who've done it, who are experienced and credentialed, and he'll record it. Like he says, he puts his mobile phone on the table and they don't know they're being recorded, and he chucks it, and then he gets that written up as a the plan, if you will. So he interviews these guys, pretending that he's interviewing them for the job, which he's not. He's just interviewing to steal their intellectual property, and I do mean steal. So then, with that in hand, he then tells me he's because he then knows how the job needs to be done, and he sees it as a straight mechanical process of, well, they've told me how it needs to. These are people who have done it, have accomplished, they're high achievers. So I'll get their information, and then I'll go and hire the proverbial black lesbian. I'll do the affirmative action hire. I'll do the diverse, because he seriously believes in this, or is told to believe in it, or his employment is conditional upon it. So he then is going to go out and hire the proverbial black lesbian, install them in the job, the affirmative action person, and then say, well, here's what you need to do. I've just stolen that information from these highly accomplished white guys. So I listened to this. I'm trying not to. I'm a bit of surprise must have crept into my face, because he sort of seemed to slightly backpedal a little bit, saying, "Oh well, I'm allowed to do it, and they're all Nazis anyway," type thing. And so I said, "Well, look, if that job needs to be done, I mean, sort of you said it does need to be done, and there are people sitting in front of you who know how to do it, and they're looking for a job, and you're looking to fill a vacancy, then why wouldn't you hire one of them? Wouldn't that make sense? Given you don't have to engage in subterfuge or trickery or deception or anything like that, which is what the guy was doing. You just hire someone who can do the job. Isn't that the whole essence of hiring people? You hire someone who can do the job. Isn't that what it means? No, you silly man, Billy Bob. You just don't understand. We're changing the world through diversity, equity, inclusion. It's time that the black lesbians had a chance to stand in the sunlight and Well, no, I get that. There's no reason that black lesbians shouldn't be not included if they've got the credentials and the qualifications and the accomplishments. Sure, well, like anyone else, but they don't. That's the material point here. I'm paraphrasing. I didn't phrase it like this. They don't have those qualifications. They don't have those accomplishments. So why, forgetting about race and forgetting about whether it's a straight white guy or not, why wouldn't you hire the person who can do the job? If that happens to be a straight white guy, then who cares? The person can do the job that you want done. Isn't that the material point of this? No. We're trying to change we're trying to change society. We're going to turn all that on its head. Don't you understand? And I'm sitting here looking at the guy. Fuck! I can't believe this. I mean, how many people like him are out there? Now, the chain of events here is that once you start down the path of affirmative action and diversity, equity, inclusion, and the idiots and the unqualified people you hire, then you have to hire more unqualified people. That is the direct result of putting unqualified people in place in any job, particularly where, and this is also a big issue, where there are so many affirmative action hires around now that any competent person who comes in, the straight white guy that arrives on time, he's well dressed, he's properly groomed, he's professional in his manner, he he does his job well, and he's industrious and conscientious and so on. The other people, the affirmative action people, will then go and complain to the manager, the CEO, or whoever the boss is, complain and say, well, that guy's making me feel uncomfortable. It's the equivalent to putting out a mean tweet. I'm feeling anxious and uncomfortable that this hardworking professional person is here. It's making me feel bad. And if I feel bad, that means that he is a fucking Nazi Hitler. And so then they get rid of the straight white guy. And again, I've sat down with CEOs where they say these sorts of things. No, the guy did a great job. No, he was good. No, he was fine. I've got no complaint. No, he just made the low quality people we have here, the affirmative action, he just made them feel a little bit, uncomfortable. So we decided, in the interests of sort of vague social harmony, just to get rid of him, and that was kind of the easiest thing. And we see that in other manifestations. For example, a rowdy bunch of, Palestinian, street hoodlums running around, and somebody, holds up a sign saying, go back to Palestine or something, and the police will swoop on them. No, you might upset those lawbreakers. You might upset the lawbreakers, you fucking Nazi. And then the police will arrest the only guy who's not breaking the law, on the basis he may upset the lawbreakers. And this is really the attitude that's permeated, whether it be street protests or whether it's employment here. So here's this guy who knows that the people he's going to hire can't do the job. So he goes to the straight white males who do know how to do the job, secretly records them so he can get, in theory at least, a blueprint on how the job should be done, so he can then go and hire someone who can't do the job. I mean, for fuck's sake. You've been with Tacitus today, your pushback channel. Thank you for listening.